And you know, that's okay. They have their place, and it's great. She's met a lot of people all over the country through those websites. But it's not the same as being able to sit down face to face with other people who've been through the same thing, and you can talk heart to heart with someone else who really understands what's going on with you. And that's why our R is working. That's why it's taking off, is because we have something that hasn't been there before. We were talking about there's groups that are more than willing to help you get yourself back into church. But now we've got a group that's willing to help you get away if that's what you want. And we're not going to go out and we're not church bashing. That's not our goal. And we're not trying to drag people screaming out of church. It's the ones that have decided that this is not the answer for them anymore. So you have to reestablish an identification. You've got to get a new foundation built. And that is what RR can do. We sit, we talk, we look at books, we talk about books, we talk about Scripture. Bible is, it's hard to let go of. But once you start getting some real insight into the Bible and its structure, then, maybe you can let go easier. But whatever it is that you're having difficulty with, that's what, as a facilitator, we're there to help everybody talk about it and find the answers. And, like I said, we may use books. Daryl's book comes up quite often because there's a lot of good insight in what he has there for us. So, but that's what we do. And that foundation from that, we've talked about this bridging between having faith and religion to getting to free thought. You've got to have something to help you get from one place to the other. So that's what we're doing, and we're pretty passionate about what we're doing. So
just different groups. I organize and member of, I'd say probably total about 8 different groups in the Kansas City area. And I help with Joplin, Springfield, and St. Joe. Kay and I do, Kay does a group in Wyandotte. I come here too, it's kind of fun. And then Daryl came into the picture, and I hear this recovery from religion sounded interesting to me, so we talked about it. And I would say, at first, I was a little skeptical. I was skeptical as a kid, and I still am, and so I thought, well, we'll try that. And we did. Quite a few people, and this is what I see today with you people when you're talking. It's like a lot of you want to talk about your own past and how that feels. And when I have a group meeting, I have 3 or 4 new people, 5 or 6, 7, 8 people from our other meetup groups that want to come, and they love to share it. And when one person tells of their experience over here, it's trading back and forth. This person said that. Next thing you know, that person's got sort of some type of answer. It doesn't take very much. And I've also found
But the thing that I have found is, and fascinates me now, because I'm a music therapist. I've been a music therapist since 1988. And my studies have been some in the field of psychology. And I didn't realize until I read Daryl's book just how much I had been involved in the manipulation of the people in my own church through the music program. And I found myself appalled that I was doing that to other people. And so this was a real eye-opening thing for me. And I've sat back and looked at all the things that I was involved with in the church. And I had to let go and be able to forgive myself for what I did, because I feel bad about some of it now, because it was manipulation. And we weren't thinking about it at that time. But it starts so early, the foundation that's built with children. And I was very involved in that. We had puppet shows. We had, what was the first thing you remember? The wonderful Christmas plays. And oh my gosh, the Christmas story was just the coolest thing. And you got to get all dressed up, and we made costumes, and we had all of that wonderful stuff. And it was great. I mean, we loved it. That was the best time of year, was to do the Christmas play. So we were indoctrinated, and that foundation lay very, very early in many of our lives. And but along the way, there was things that happened that starts the cracks in the foundation.
My mother was, and she, when we left, she was shunned and not allowed to speak to her. It was very difficult. You know, a lot of people that were in my life as a child are not in my life anymore. And also even the fact you weren't allowed to question in your mind about God's existence, because that's automatically a sin because he knows what you're thinking. And so I felt like God hated me, you know, and then to finally, you know, like he said just recently, embrace the term atheism, which is what I believe I've been my entire life. It's really freeing.
Yes, I've heard that from many people that said that same thing. Exactly. Very good. And that, had there not been some friends of mine that were willing to let me talk about it, I don't know what I would have done. I mean, it would have been very difficult. And when I found out about what he had in mind with RR, and after having read his book, I thought, this is what is needed. And I would have loved to have had this. What about you guys? Do you think you would have had a better time of it if you'd had a group that you could come and just sit down and talk about what you're going through?